So now I'd like to welcome Cordell Bailey with the Department of Transportation. He's going to give us a presentation on street smarts.
Well, hello everybody. Speaking of traffic safety, right? So anyway, so I am Cordell Bailey with the Department of Transportation. I am the Traffic Safety Education Officer for the City of San Jose. Big lofty title, right? Yeah, no. So what I really do is I go out and I'm the education arm of the DOT. So every major city has that education arm because we really have four legs of the transportation system, right? And many of you know this, but it's going to be, our enforcement, right? We have our engineering, we have our encouragement side, we build all these bike lanes, we want to get people out there to use them, but we have the education part too because we want people to use our things correctly and they, obey the laws of the road and do things right. So the education part is what I do. I go out to elementary schools. I speak to about 25 to 30,000 kids a year. I go to the middle schools. I go to the high schools. I go to senior centers. I speak with the homeless. I speak with anybody that'll listen, neighborhood associations, everybody. And a lot of what I do is not just the standard, use your crosswalk. We all know that, ride the correct way on a bicycle, at night have lights, wear a helmet. A lot of that I do, but with a lot of what I do too is getting the information out there. Because, we find that people get frustrated. Where can I find how to get the curbs painted, a stop sign replaced? I have this problem with speeding in the neighborhood. We're trying to get the information out there for everybody so they know where they can go. And so that's why you leaders are great to have here because then I can outreach to you guys and come pay you a visit if need be. So we do have a lot of different programs, as a lot of you know, because you've reached out to our neighborhood traffic management staff. Some of you have worked with Larry. We talked about that earlier. But those are great guys, and they really are there to help too. It's but of course, resources, we have a huge backlog for crosswalks, things such as that, and we're working to kind of alleviate that backlog. Lighting is a huge thing that we're working on too. The LED lighting thing is great. We're doing that for safety, pedestrian safety reasons. Adding bike lanes, our road diet thing, like it or not, it does have an effect on traffic. It does slow it down. Then we're also looking at Vision Zero. And I don't know, who's heard of Vision Zero? Yeah, all right, good. A lot of people haven't yet. So we're really trying to get the word out there about Vision Zero. And Vision Zero is a strategy to get to zero fatalities on our roadways, right? And many people will say that's next to impossible, right? But it really is a great program. It started in Sweden and started back in the 90s. And the Swedes were having a huge problem with fatalities, right? And crashes, and it's kind of getting out of control, a lot like we see, in our daily lives, a lot of bad behaviors. So what they started doing is really started analyzing data, bringing all the data together and kind of redesigning the whole transportation system with everybody in mind, not just cars, pedestrians, bicyclists, motor vehicles, all the different forms of transportation. We're really kind of analyzing data and finding out where the crashes are happening. And so we've taken that on here in San Jose, and it's a really great thing. And so now I fall underneath that. But really what that program is, as the education arm of it, is, also it's what I was doing before. That message doesn't change, educating folks on how to use our transportation system, safely. But really it adds a lot more dimensions to it. Again, we're analyzing data. We're finding out who's in these crashes, where they come from. Is it the homeless? And we're finding out a lot of it is. Do we change our outreach strategies? Do we need to talk to different people? Do we need to get out there? Is it a corridor? And we are finding out that it's 14 major corridors here in San Jose that account for over 50% of our major crashes, right? Our fatalities. So, and that's only 3% of our streets here in San Jose. We have a lot of road miles. So our focus is right now, get the ball rolling. We're going to focus on these major corridors. And we're going to do whatever we can, get whatever grant funding we can. That's the best part about Vision Zero, having that topic, having that main general header. We can apply for a lot more grant funding to try to get a lot of these pedestrian and bicycle projects done. A lot of you guys know this information. But again, what I do is the outreach part, It's not just, a lot of it is the standard looking directions, stopping, using our crosswalks, Here in San Jose, we actually have a very safe transportation statistically compared to other major cities our size. So we're doing great there, but we feel that one fatality is too many, And all these, we get away from the whole accident. Was it an accident? Well, an accident means, right, that it could have been prevented. Somebody made a mistake, right? No, we call it a crash now because we're saying that, hey, there was something that could have been done. And we look at all angles to every crash. We look at them really detailed. We look at the police reports, really drill down and kind of figure out what's going on. Is it a drinking problem? Is it a certain area we have a drinking problem? Do we bring our enforcement in? And that's another thing, too. We've been working with Lieutenant Payne in the Traffic Enforcement Unit, and they're really going to focus on these roadways, these major corridors, where we're finding out that we're having our fatalities. If we can half those by 50%, we got a good start on this thing. So that's kind of where we're going with this. But again, I would love to come out and speak to everybody. I do hand out nice, nifty yard signs that I do have. Really children events of any kind, senior events, neighborhood groups, whatever, just getting that out there. And a lot of it, we do have that safety conversation because that's my job. That's what I do. But I also have a lot of internal information on the Department of Transportation that kind of helps people, get around, So you can always call counsel's office too, you're a great guy, But you'd also call me as well. Because I've been here long enough to where I kind of know where to go and how to get around. I started here about 10 years ago, and I started as a parking officer actually, and I did vehicle abatement and code enforcement for quite some time. So I kind of know a lot about this kind of stuff. It's a lot of ins and outs. So. How am I doing on time?
You got another 7 minutes.
Okay, well then I think I'll go to the question and answer portion of my. Yes.
So. I've seen the 14 major corridors
yes.
in the Vision Zero report, and those are some major streets,
yes.
most of them. And yet, at least I have found within, on next door, I can see 10 different downtown neighborhoods.
Yes.
And there's a big desire for traffic calming, more stop signs on the minor streets, and yet you say you're going to focus. I understand you need to focus on the large ones, but then what do you say to someone who says, there's not people are speeding through things.
Right.
We need a stop sign. People are not, watching out for us. There's no crosswalks. How long is it going to take us to get a stop sign?
Right. So we haven't taken resources that we would normally use for. Remember, Vision Zero is a big umbrella title. These are programs that we've been doing for years and years and years. Does anybody remember the Street Smarts education program? That I ran that, yeah. So I've been running that for a long time. Now it's all under Vision Zero, but we're not taking away resources, from other neighborhoods. But what we're doing is really kind of focusing on these major roadways. Seeing what we can do there first, but it's a big city. We're not stopping there,
I'd like to invite you to join the committee on traffic calming. Because we've got some good ideas and we'd like your help.
Well, and that's another thing too. So we love to hear good ideas. A lot of our transportation professionals, I've got all sorts of certifications that, very boring ones, I had to sit through a lot of crazy classes. But again, we get like this a lot of times because it's a lot of what we do. When other new ideas come up, and even new technologies, new stuff, we love to hear it. We really do. I love to hear it. It's great stuff. I can't read enough on this kind of stuff. So this is good. I mean, having ideas, having new ideas for, crosswalk ideas. I mean, it's what can we do to work together to make things more visible?
Just about 80% of the budget ideas that were submitted involved roads, lights, safety, stop signs, etc.
Yeah.
And only a small portion of them could go through because of the either dollar limit or timing limit or etc. And so my attitude is that we can't just then say, well, it kind of, if you'll excuse the language, it sucks to be you. Instead, we need to come up with some ways in which we can be innovative. And so, for example, one thing that I did the water rebate program, and it was wonderful. And so why can't we do that with street lighting, since LEDs are so inexpensive now? And so there might be some things that we can put forward. They might not be good ideas, but maybe they can trigger the DOT's thinking process to come up with a good idea that does work. Does that make sense?
And if I can plug, that's the kind of thing that we're looking at. I don't know how many have seen at the Wilson Center on the Alameda, the LGBT, they now have a rainbow crosswalk.
Yeah.
But that costs $11,000 and that's a lot. So what we're hoping to do is to get more ideas out there about how can neighbors start to do this and work with DOT. Let us paint it within your guidelines, having the little white on the outside. But, you know, to what point can you, so I'd like to, you know, can we work together to make this happen? And I'd like to invite everybody Friday night at 7 o'clock at Joyce Allen.
Nice plug, Mary.
Yes. We're gonna
One
talk
more
about
question, we'll
this.
let Joan have it.
Well, when you were first introducing yourself, you talked about the education component and going the wrong way. Were you referring to those bicyclists and skateboarders that are going the wrong way on one
Right.
street?
So that
Because that's
yes.
my biggest pet peeve.
Okay,
Can we
so-
put little signs going
Yeah.
one way.
Yeah, no, right. So, and we are working that to possibly put up signage facing the wrong direction, because saying you're right in the wrong direction too. So, but that is a lot of what I do with the high school program. That is what we find. There's a lot of driving components there that, you know, with the police department has a grant through Office of Traffic Safety for, you know, driving behaviors, but we're really focusing on the wrong way riding at night, wearing all black. A lot of behaviors we're seeing out there, you know, especially I can look out there right now and see somebody doing it, you know, and that's the kind of thing we're really focusing on. you
Could
know?
that person be ticketed in some way?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, enforcement is always a little difficult because there's a lot of bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know, so, but again, that's my job is the education component. You know, getting that information out there. A lot of people don't know that's illegal, and a lot of people don't know that they can be ticketed for that, especially high school students. They have no idea. They think they're on a bike, right? And they think, you know, it's different. It's completely different. It's considered a motor vehicle. It's in the DMV handbook.
Yeah, no, I wasn't asking for increased enforcement. I was just
Oh, I
curious.
know.
I was just curious if that could happen.
No,
to be a
that's
deterrent.
a lot of what I do. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, Cordell.
Oh.
Okay, last question.
Only one,
Yeah.
okay, well, I had
Rich.
two. But on Key Street, you know what that is?
I do know.
Okay, the speed limit is 35 miles an hour, and it's almost impossible to go that fast in that street because of congestion. And if you do go 35 miles an hour, you may have to hit a pedestrian or another car. So I think that stretch needs to be looked at better.
Yeah. You know, so we are looking at a lot of that area, and reducing speed limits is something that we're looking at as well. You know, it's not just speeding; it might be speed, right? There's a difference. There's speeding, which is going over the posted speed limit, but maybe that posted speed limit needs to be lowered too. It's something we're looking at citywide.
Yeah, you can't even go that fast, and if you try to go that fast,
Right.
I think it'd be dangerous.
Right.
So,
Because again, we're
look into
looking
that.
at it. This transportation system was developed a long time ago.
Yeah,
And it was very car based.
that's a very old street.
Yeah,
so-
it's very old street. It's very car based. So we're kind of re-examining that. So I think that I'd be hooked.
Yes, yes.
What we'll do is
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and share Cordell's information, email, phone number, so if anybody would like to get in contact with Cordell.
Yeah, and I brought a couple yard signs. I was
All right.
running
I'll take
through another
them. I'll
event,
take
so
them.
I know.
Dibs.
So- yeah, they do help. I got a couple of Spanish and a couple
look
of
at that.
yeah.
Oh,
wow.
So you've probably seen these around. They really do help. Actually, you'd be surprised. I know everybody thinks, oh, that's just a kind of a lame alternative, but people read these when they're driving down the street and they go, oh man, somebody does live here. Maybe I do need to slow down. Little things like this do help. So I've got a bunch more on order, so if you need some for your neighborhood.
Yeah, I see the ones for children.
Yes.
Children, something like that.
Yeah, so you know, actually we don't drive like your children live here. You see
Something like
those?
that, yeah.
Those are not ours. Those are people buying those on Amazon.
Can you bring a couple of those if you get them before April 20th up to my office?
I'd love to.
And we'll bring them here to the next meeting.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
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 So that way, if
And
I
I
don't
have-
get one tonight, we'll bring some next
I
meeting.
have Spanish. I have
Yeah.
English, different ones. So I'll leave over here. Feel
Yeah.
free.
Thank you, Cordell.
Thank you guys.
I just have one question. What is this Vision, whatever it was, that,
Vision Zero.
yeah, I've never heard of it. So
Okay.
is there a place I can look for?
My
information?
bad if I did not explain that very well. I was kind of
It's-
skipping around.
I'm just not informed.
I only have one copy left. These are at the printers right now, and I'm very sorry. But I will leave this here, and you can share it amongst yourselves.
In a nutshell, it's to get to zero deaths.
0 deaths on our roadways.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. So it's
Good plan.
that's the goal, right?
All right.
Even though we know that may be impossible to obtain at some point just because accidents happen, right? But the idea is that we want to do everything we can to try to prevent the preventable accidents.
Great.
Crashes.
Great.
Now his whole talk makes sense.
Look at that, summed it up. Sorry.
No worries, and if you Google that, if you Google Vision Zero San Jose, that very document will pop right up. It's on the Street Smart
Just
site.
kidding.